Eddie Olczyk. It is always a great pleasure to welcome him aboard, especially Ron Flatter and Vinny Magliulo when we've got a weekend with the Santa Anita Derby. And, of course, we've got the Bluegrass back at Keeneland. Eddie, you're going to be on the air all day tomorrow, my friend.
You know what, Brent? Unfortunately, we've got a pothole that we hit on my way out to Santa Anita for our Triple Cross on NBC. So I got hockey duties tonight in Chicago. I'll be in Nashville tomorrow. So the first time you'll see me on horse racing coverage will be on the first Saturday in May. But I do have time in the afternoon to get my feet wet, if you know what I mean. So it's good to be with you.
I do indeed, Vinny, and we know what he means here, Ronnie.
XpressBet app. He's using the XpressBet app.
Exactly. He's got the XpressBet app out. He went Brent 100. He got the extra $100. Eddie, let's start out
after today, I think I wore out my XpressBet app, so I'm going to have to tap out for the rest of the day and recharge tomorrow. So.
I'm going to start you at Santa Anita, and on behalf of all of us, we hope that tomorrow goes without a single incident. They've had so much bad luck out there. Yeah. It's a short field in the Derby. What I see is Jerry Hollendorfer versus Bob Baffert. What do you got for me, Eddie, on the Santa Anita Derby?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing, and I echo exactly what you said, Brent, wishing the best of safety trips for all those horses, whether later today or tomorrow or moving forward. They've had just a horrible stretch there out at Santa Anita, so hopefully they can get some better luck on their side and get this thing figured out. Look, the first thing that sticks out to me, and I think Ron and Vinny would concur, is that when I saw it was only a 6-horse field, like that caught me off guard right off the bat, right? I mean, these horses are going for $1 million, and when I saw a 6-horse field, I kind of was taken back initially by that. Okay, now when I look at the race, and I've been on the Roadster bandwagon here for the last 6-7 months. He comes off a race, the 1-horse Roadster, trained by Bob Baffert. You mentioned, Brent, it is Jerry against Bob tomorrow. I got Roadster at, I think I got him at 24-1 to win the Derby, and then I got him at 19-1 to win the Derby. If he wins tomorrow, there's a pretty good chance that this horse is going to be single digits, so I'll certainly be sitting on those tickets come the first Saturday in May. I really think Roadster's coming into this race in a good spot, Brent. I don't think there's any doubt that Instagram will be on the lead. Roadster with Mike Smith, I think, will be stalking, and then I think it becomes a sprint the last, eighth of a mile, quarter of a mile, however you want to describe it. Game winner look is proven, right? I mean, the 2-year-old champion needed one race in the Rebel, the split two divisions of the Rebel at Oaklawn back in the middle of March. Might be a little bit farther back, maybe sitting 4th or so in the race. There isn't a lot of pace in the race. Instagram, as I said, will be there. But, my money's going to be on Roadster on top of Instagram and Game Winner tomorrow. Now, I would think Game Winner is going to be 4-5, maybe 3-5. Instagram, probably 2-1. And I think Roadster maybe be 5-2. I don't know if that sits with you guys, maybe a little bit more. I'm hoping for 3 or 4-1 because I'm going to play Roadster on top of Game Winner and Instagram. But I think he'll be third choice Roadster. But I really think that this horse is coming into this race on a big, big race. So I'm looking for the 1-horse Roadster to win the Santa Anita Derby tomorrow afternoon.
I agree with you, Ed, and I think, obviously Game Winner, we lost a month ago, right, to Omaha Beach and the Rebels, so does he bounce? Right. Yeah, I mean, it's between those two for sure. I think, and then you're just trying to figure out who to couple with him, right? I mean, obviously, you mentioned Jerry Hollendorfer. The other horse I would take a look at, just, and I don't know if you can call it a price because it's probably going to be about 5-6. You might get 7-1 because the other horses draw. Like you, I wish it was a bigger field. Nolo Contesto, I think,
sure.
Just to kind of fill out the exotics there, Ron. I was,
it comes out of the same race, and comes out of the same race as Roadster. Roadster was, the comment in the Daily Racing Forum says stock, bid, leg, clear. Roadster had it. I mean, the race was a flat mile. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, this horse might have run 1 1/8. I mean, this horse I thought was a tad wide. I thought had the overland route, but flattened out nicely the last, 16th of a mile, 1/8 of a mile, like really looked impressive, like really looked like one of those Bob Baffert superstar type of horses. And I remember talking to Bob about this horse last year, I think in between the Del Mar starts that Roadster had, and he kind of I got the sense that, if I can keep this horse right here, this horse seems to be able to have some talent. And I remember Bob just mentioning, he thinks this horse can run, forever. So 1.25 miles to Derby. Now, I mean, Roadster's got to run a big race to get into the Derby. Finished in first for sure. We'll get him in. Maybe second. We'll get him in. But I think that this is a horse that I'm definitely using tomorrow. And as I said, I got those futures, and hopefully I'll be able to be a little bit ahead of the curve if somehow Roadster does win the Santa Anita Derby and then heads to the Derby is one of the 3 or 4 betting choices. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Edzo, let me take you to Keeneland with the Bluegrass Stakes, another $1 million race, and Vacoma's the 9-5 favorite coming in after finishing third off a really hot pace at the Fountain of Youth. That's sort of the whole talking point of these preps. We've either had really hot paces or, like the Florida Derby last week, tortoise slow. Does that make it more difficult for you to try and find a winner, or does it make it more enticing for you to find a price?
It's probably a combination, Ron. I think that when you look at, just in general, if I could, just like when you look at the 3-year-old picture, I mean, I think you could make a case right now for 7 or 8 horses, which is great. Like, could we go in? Like, look, if there are, again, if Roadster wins, say, tomorrow, and then you have an upset in New York at the Wood, and then you have an upset tomorrow at Keeneland, and then you still have, you still have Oaklawn next week. I could make the argument that the favorite at the Derby might be 5-1, 6-1.
Yes.
I think you could realistically say that. Now, especially if Game Winner doesn't win tomorrow. Now, I mean, if Game Winner wins, he probably would be going into the Derby, in my opinion, as the favorite. Of course, a lot of the money, a lot of the Bob Baffert money, and rightfully so. But Ronnie, I think that with it being so wide open, is that in these races, and I think that they are, and I'll take the Santa Anita Derby out of the picture because it's only a 6-horse field. Tomorrow on the Bluegrass, I mean, there's plenty. I think there's plenty of pace in this race. That if you can find a horse that can kind of be either rated a bit or sit mid-pack and make a run, or find a horse that's tactical of sitting off the pace, you got a chance to get paid. Like, look, I can't bet anything in that race that's going to be, 2-1, 7-2. Like, if I'm going to take a stab. Like, I mean, I'll just tell you guys right now. Like, I'm going to take a wild shot and a half, and I've been known to do that. Actually, last week I might as well toot my own horn because it's been some tough sledding lately. I actually picked Bodie Express to finish second in the Florida Derby. Unfortunately for me, didn't go to the lead with the service horse, and I thought that Bourbon War would pick him up, and I had a massive exacta with Bourbon War on top of Bodie Express. But unfortunately, Bourbon War finished 5th, I think, or 4th, and Bodie Express, the maiden in the Florida Derby, ran second at 70-1, 80-1, whatever it was. So I'm not afraid to take a shot, and I'm going to take a shot tomorrow in the Bluegrass. I'm going to go all the way to the outside. Now, today the track was relatively front at Keeneland. They did have some rain overnight last night, and I think it tightened up the track, and it was very tough for horses to close. Like, you had horses that come off the pace on the dirt, just off the pace, but you couldn't be 6-7 lengths out of it. So I'm hoping that the track is as tight tomorrow as it was today. But I'm going to go all the way to the outside, believe it or not. And this trainer, Dallas Stewart, trains Aquadini. Dallas Stewart is a guy that is known to get some big horses in at big prices. Now, look, I think this horse can win. Yeah, he's going to get my money, but I'm going to bet him across the board. I think tactically, I think the 14 might get a decent trip. I like the race 2 back. It was a maiden race, I get it, but tactical. Set off the pace. It wasn't a very fast pace, which really is encouraging to me, and ended up winning by 5, and then comes right back at Fairgrounds and runs a really quick race for the Fairgrounds on the lead. So I think there's tactics there, and this horse is going to be every bit of 30-1. So look, the 14 is going to get my money across the board, and if he happens to hit the board, I'm going to make some money. So I'm going to use the 14, Aquadini. I'm going to use the 8, win. I'm going to use the 9, Sir Winston, because I think you don't have to invest a lot tomorrow and make a lot of money in this race. I really do. I think you got a heck of a shot. So I'm going to use the 8, the 9, and I'm going to play some gimmicks and tries and supers with the 2 and the 3. Signal Man, the 3, and Vekoma, the 2, and hopefully the 14 can hit the board somewhere.
On behalf of old guys everywhere, my man Eddie Olczyk just ignored D. Wayne Lucas, who's got the 4-horse, going to be worth a price. And he was in that Omaha Beach race, and I believe that rascal with Velasquez and the irons finished 3rd. Give me a good word, Mr. Olczyk, about D. Wayne and the number 4-horse.
You know what? All I'm going to say is the last time I had a D. Wayne horse, he won the Preakness with Oxbow. That's all I know. That's the last time I fought D. Wayne Lucas. Gary Stevens was in the saddle. Yeah, you know what's funny about that story, real quick, guys, is I was doing hockey for NBC. It was a playoff game. I actually was in Chicago. I'm actually at the United Center right now getting ready for the Blackhawks and Dallas Stars game tonight. I was in the booth in between periods, and NBC brought me in live to the Preakness coverage, obviously before the race. And I had a 2-way conversation with Jerry Bailey and Lafitte Pinkai, and they asked me about my pick, and I said, you know what? I think Oxbow's got a heck of a chance. And Jerry Bailey jumped out of his chair and said, you know what, Edzo? The coach is good, but he ain't that good. No way Oxbow wins the Preakness. So at least I got a chance to put a Hall of Fame jockey right in his place. At least for one time in my life.
Thanks a lot, Eddie. Good luck over the weekend with that XpressBet app. Eddie Olczyk from XpressBet.